Hey man, this your boy Mel, aka the Boss Hog. Welcome to Real Talk. We're gonna talk about some things. It's always gonna be different. It's always gonna be different. We're gonna change the game up every time we do this. And I want you to open up your minds, experience what I'm experiencing, and just understand where I'm coming from. I'm a grown ass man who's going through a massive transition in his life. I'm retiring, and I just want to talk about some things. Greetings, greetings. I'm gonna keep playing with the format some until I kind of get things the way I like it and the way that the people like it. But today on Real Talk, we kind of go back to old school. You know how we did it on Facebook, um, and I call this Real Talk the test and the lesson, or the lesson and the test. And I'll start with the funny thing about life. As a child, you go to school and they give you the lesson, right? And once you got the lesson, they give you the test. And your mind starts to work that way. I was taught this thing, I'm going to be tested about it. But in real life, you get the test and then the lesson, right? Something bad happens and then you figure out, well, don't do that anymore, right? You touch the stove, you burned your hand, and the lesson is don't touch a hot stove, right? So today I think I'm going to talk about a couple of things, just life lessons, right? And I'm going to drop some knowledge for everybody to kind of look at and digest. These are lessons I've learned in life, right? First off, number one is listen to understand, not just to respond. Oftentimes we're in a conversation and we listen to hear just enough of what that person is saying so we have a response, but not really listen to understand what that person is really feeling, what they're trying to convey. A lot of arguments go a lot further than they needed to go because people listen to have a response and not listen to understand. That's something I learned to do. That's why when people have opposing arguments to me, I listen. You may actually convince me to change my mind. I'm not just listening to come up with some really cool way to shut you down and make you feel bad or make you feel like your point doesn't matter. I'm listening to really kind of understand how you got there and how you feel about it, and the root of your belief. Two, judge people by their actions. Right? People can say a lot of things, but you really got to look at their actions. And the other thing that's important for me to judge people by is how animals and children respond to them, right? Usually, when dogs don't like somebody, there's a pretty good reason. When your pet doesn't like somebody, it's like, yeah, there's something wrong with them, right? There's something wrong with them. You know, people can say that the greatest things, they can give the greatest speeches and make you feel the most comfortable and warm, and those are the most treacherous people, right? Just because someone says that they're your friend, doesn't mean that they're not also your enemy. So be wary of that. Three, take advice from people who are successful in the things that you're trying to be successful in, right? If you want to buy a house, talk to somebody who's bought and sold some houses, right? If you want to be in a relationship, right? Don't talk to somebody who can't sustain relationships because obviously they don't know what the fuck they talking about, right? You want to buy a car, you talk to somebody who's purchased the level of vehicle that you want to buy, not somebody who's, you know, riding around in the bucket, right? We oftentimes just take advice from our friends because they're our friends, but you have to honestly look at them sometimes and go, they don't know what the fuck they talking about. You know, that's ironic. Um, Here's another one, right? Don't do anything for the money, right? If you do something for the money, the truth is You can never have enough money. So if you do something for the money, you're never really going to be fully satisfied with it. And you're never going to feel like you've accomplished what you wanted to accomplish, right? You're going to always feel a sense of yearning. If you're going to do something for the way it makes you feel, not for the money, right? Um, Number 5, stay in your lane. Drifting out of your lane is how accidents happen. Recognize who you are. Really honestly recognize who you are and be true to yourself. When you don't do that and you try to be something else or be someone else, it's always going to end in disaster. And that's a disaster that you didn't plan, i.e., an accident. Stay in your lane, or you're going to cause an accident. Number 6, I would tell you, accept people for who they are, right? I have friends. I have a lot of friends. Well, not really a lot of friends. I got a lot of associates, few friends. But when you're my friend, I look at your bad characteristics and I honestly decide, is this something I'm willing to accept and still be friends with this person? And if the answer is yes, then I'm friends with them, right? It's like if you have a friend or a relative who every time they call you, they ask to borrow money. You know this is how it's gonna go. So when you see that name show up on your caller ID, you have one of two choices. Answer the phone and tell them, no, I'm not going to lend you money, or not answer the phone, right? But don't get mad because they ask you to borrow money. People are who they are. So decide, what you're willing to tolerate in a friendship or relationship, and that's what you go with. And when it becomes more than you can tolerate, just end it. You don't have to keep going there, right? And here's one that's kind of controversial, and I've been thinking about this one for the last couple of days, right? People hate liars. They hate when people lie to them. But I've discovered in relationships, personal relationships and intimate relationships, a lot of the times people lie to you because they care about you and they care about your feelings, right? It's like ladies, if you get a hairdo that your man does not like, but you are super enthusiastic about it, he's gonna be like, "No, babe, I like it. I like it. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool." Even if you don't like it, right? So sometimes the people who love you most lie to you because they don't want to hurt your feelings and they want to inspire you and keep you moving. That's not always true, right? You have to kind of understand the difference between, you know, malicious, assholes that just want to lie to you and people who honestly lie to you because they care about you, right? So number 8, uh, and this is for everybody. I didn't come across this understanding until I was probably I was in my mid 30s, right? Your parents are just people. I'm gonna say that again. Your parents are just people. Your mother is just a woman. Your father is just a man. We oftentimes look at our parents as these omnipotent beings and we expect them to be so perfect, but they're just people, right? They made mistakes, right? They did the best they could. Uh, they grew up while raising you, and you expect perfection from them, right? They were encountering new ideas and new concepts as being a parent as they were raising you, but you expect them to have the perfect answer and the perfect knowledge instantly, right? My mother got divorced from my stepfather and she started dating, and I did not like the fact that my mother was dating, right? I did not like that 100%. But I also had to recognize that my mother's a woman. She wants the company of a man. She wants to date. She wants to feel beautiful. She wants to be touched. It's okay. Got it. Don't want to think about it like that. But at the same time, it's the truth, right? She didn't stop being a woman when she gave birth to me, right? Your father didn't stop being a man and having urges when your mother got pregnant with you, right? So to hold them to some level of accountability that you don't hold yourself to, it's fucking ridiculous, right? Why do you even do that? It's stupid. Um, Here's one I think I really like. I like the way it's worded, right? Shit happens. Just wipe your ass and flush. Life is never going to give you what you need when you need it. There's always going to be some wrinkle. The best laid plans of mice and men often go astray, right? What are you going to do when your plan goes bad? Are you going to shut down, or are you going to figure out a way through it? You're going to push and figure it out. Are you going to clean it up and move on to something else? So again, when I say shit happens, wipe your ass and flush it. Now we're kind of coming to the end of the list, right? This is a unique part of the list because this is something really, really, really personal. It's how I make decisions. And I want you all to kind of think about this when you make decisions, right? Oftentimes when I'm stuck between do I go left or do I go right, how I decide left or right is I go, if things go wrong based on this decision, will I feel like a jackass when I have to explain it to people? And if the answer is yes, then I'll make the actual opposite decision, right? That's kind of the barometer that I use to look at decision making. There's a lot of things in your life that if you use that barometer, right, and it's not, I mean, we can call it all kinds of things, like a moral code or your moral compass, or whatever. It's really not a moral compass. It's honestly just being embarrassed about doing dumb shit. Um, if you look at life and decisions from that perspective, it'll probably give you a more fulfilling life because even your mistakes won't be embarrassing to you. Your mistakes will have been justified before you made the decision and possibly made the mistake, right? But if you don't do that, if the answer is yes, I'm going to feel embarrassed about, this decision I made, and you go ahead and make that decision anyway, right? Then I think you're going to live an unfulfilled life. You're never going to figure it out, right? So live life making decisions that when you're on your deathbed and your family's surrounding you and you're taking your last breaths, you don't have regrets. I guess that's really what number 10 was live life without regrets, you know. And that's how you create regrets is by making decisions that you will be embarrassed about later on. It's okay if you make a decision that you're embarrassed about later on because you didn't have the knowledge of how bad things could go. Um, but when you do have that option, take that option. So we're going to keep doing these real talks. We're going to keep the YouTube page going. We're going to keep building on this. At some point, I want to go and kind of do a live broadcast and maybe have some guests and we talk about some things. I don't know what topics I want to talk about. I don't know what people I want to talk to. But if you're a fan of the page, you know, let me know what you may want to talk about. Let me know what your setup is, and maybe we can get something going over the weekend and just kind of do a live and put all that stuff together. Again, I mean, I'm a 46-year-old man, so when it comes to computers, I'm an operator, right? So you'll probably have to walk me through some things, and we'll get it set up, and we'll talk about some topics that really strike home with some people, and we'll get some maybe opposite points of view from mine. Because I think if you guys really know me, you understand that I don't just not listen to opposite points of view. I want to hear what you have to say, and hopefully maybe you can convince me, right? Because as a Renaissance man, I think the thing I owe myself is to be able to grow and experience life and be okay with changing my attitude and becoming someone else or learning better. If you're hearing noises in the background, it's because my damn cat is playing. So she's doing her thing. Okay, so as always, I'm gonna sign off. This was kind of a short one, but I'm gonna sign off with I'm just saying, fuck out of here.